and it was thanks to Deng Xiaoping. And from that time onwards, we were able to have a decent life, and also from that time onwards, I was able to bring my wife with me wherever I went, whether abroad or at home. And from that time onwards, it was all the way upwards, beginning with being an ambassador to the Pacific Islands, and then I became ambassador to the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and then became Under Secretary General of the United Nations. And during all that time, my wife gave me very strong support and enabled me to go ahead in a very good way. And also, during this time, my wife then talked to me about the possibility of maybe writing a book about ourselves, because she said that it seems that in our generation, we two really probably had one of the most interesting lives you could imagine, and it would be a good thing if we could write it down and for posterity. And that is what was done. She first wrote it in Chinese, because I mean, her English is pretty good, but her Chinese is much better. And then my English is better, my Chinese is pretty bad, so I wrote mine in English. Her came out way on top. Mine was in English, but there was no way to sell it amongst the English-speaking population because of all this very strict this or that things in those bad old days. Well, not entirely bad old days, but not all that good old days, not like today. And so it was in Chinese, and so some of it was in English, and we all thought about having it in English someday. And so that day finally came, and we found this very good friend of ours, Ray Dalio, who had shown an interest in China all along, and we had the great pleasure of meeting him, and how were we able to meet him? A super beautiful, wonderful young lady, somewhere, I think she's seated over there in pink, such a sweet girl, and she helped us to bring all of us together, and well, before that we were already good friends, but because of her strong friendship with us, and also because of her friendship with so many other people, we got to know Ray Dalio, and through Ray Dalio, this new book came out, and so here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Very thanks to my dear friend here, and to my good friend, my good son, Xiao Tan, who also helped me a lot, and my second son, and my dear wife. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
That's so wonderful.
Thank you.
You'll answer some questions now?
Yeah, I'm ready for questions.
Thank you. Please.
Sure.
We're joined on stage by Virginia. Do you prefer Ginny?
Ginny, of course.
Okay. Kamsky,
Yeah, sure.
she is chairman and CEO of Kamsky Associates, Inc., KAI. She is an authority on China and U.S. relations, having resided in both countries, and also is an authority on business and commerce in China. She's been a close confidant of Ambassador Xi's for about 30 years. So
yes, about
she's
30.
going to
I'm only
help
32, so
facilitate.
I was
That's right. She's 32.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
He was there at her first communion. But she's going to ask some questions, and Ambassador Xi will be kind enough to answer those, and then we'll have our usual Q&A from the audience.
Thank you, Ralph. And I want to thank John Sonnenberg for the suggestion of our coming out here. Mm-hmm. And John said it would be nice if you would have a conversation with Ambassador Xi, and we've been having a conversation for 30 years. So they said we could only have a 10-minute conversation, and then open it to questions. Sure. But as you were talking about the Cultural Revolution, I was thinking when we met, it was just after what is referred to as the smashing of the Gang of Four, and China was closed to the Western world. And we met when there were very few Americans in China and very few Chinese had come to the United States. And it's in the book, I think the last chapter, and I was hoping it wouldn't be in there, but if you read to the end, you'll see how our relationship started. I was working, interpreting. I've really learned from Ambassador G how to interpret. Not that I could even compare myself to you, for David Rockefeller, and you were the interpreter for the vice premier. We were going downtown. I was at Chase Manhattan Bank, and we got to East 12th Street, and Ambassador G said, "Ginny, stop the car. I want to get off here." And I said to Ambassador G, "This is the most dangerous street in New York City." And he turned to me, first day we met, and he said, "This is the street where I grew up." So we had
233 East 12th Street.
we had nowhere to go.
3rd Avenue.
We had nowhere to go but up. But I thought, Ambassador G, just looking back over the 30-plus years that we knew each other, what it was like right after the Cultural Revolution, those days when you invited me to the compound, the Foreign Ministry compound. Ambassador G now lives in the compound of the State Council, which is, even more formidable. But Ambassador G said, "Come, Ginny, come visit us at our home." And I don't know if you recall, if you want to talk about what it was like
That's right.
in 1978 when I knocked at the gate.
That's right. And the gateman asked, "Who are you? Who do you want?"
Right. And I said,
And she spoke accent Chinese, you see.
I said that I wanted to see Ambassador G. And he said, Ambassador G said to me, "Make sure when you come that you're wearing clothes so you look Chinese." And
Not like this clothes.
Well, now they look like this. And there were mouse suits that were either green or blue. And I had a jumpsuit that was blue. And he said, "Bu rang wai guo ren." We don't allow foreigners.
That's right.
And he shut the door. And then he said, I knocked again, and I said, I said, "I'm not a foreigner." 3 times, and he finally let me in.
Yeah.
And those were very different times.
Yes.
And then many years later, Ambassador G you were given the position as Deputy Undersecretary General
That's
to the
right.
UN. And just to show the contrast of how things changed, the Chinese had never had a Chinese of that rank at the United Nations. And you were ambassador in England, and you said to me, "I'm moving to New York." And I said, "Where are you going to live?" And you and your wife moved in with me when you came to the United States. And even then, it was looked upon with some suspicion. I had a call from the State Department saying, "Ambassador G is the highest ranked Chinese official domiciled overseas. What is he doing living with you?" And I said, "We're friends." But this was almost unheard of. And then you fast forward that to today, where the openness between foreigners and Chinese foreigners, I'm sorry, I'm a foreigner, we're all foreigners, has truly changed. And we've been together at many meetings, whether it's talking to taxi drivers or some of the current leaders. I wanted to ask you, Ambassador G, what the Chinese view is, what your personal view is, maybe, of the new leadership of the Obama administration, and what you see in terms of the prospects for U.S.-China relations at this juncture, having been a witness of history for the last 30-plus years?
Well, thank you very much. But I'm really very, very much sanguine about the present leadership in the United States. Obama, I've never seen him face to face, but I've watched him over TV literally every time that I had any opportunity to see it on TV. And I really feel that the United States, I think, anyway, should be very proud of such a president, because I think he's a person from ordinary people, and a person who knows America, and a person who does not put on airs. And because if I may be totally frank, some previous American presidents could have a lot of airs, some not so much airs. But Obama, no, he's such an ordinary person, but yet such a person with such a deep insight